It is a WRAL weather alert day. We have a winter weather advisory and a cold weather advisory across the viewing area. I'll show you what that means for your day.
And tracking road conditions. This is a live look at I-40 at I-540. We'll show you the improvements we're seeing after the storm.
Virus detected. An owl in Cary is found to have been carrying bird flu. What wildlife experts have to say about how concerned you should be. 4:30 is the time right now. It's been a long week. 4:30. We made it to Friday, and we have a nice day on the way. Decent day anyway. Cold for certain as we get started here. I'm Jeff Hogan. Good to have you with us.
And I'm Renee Chu. Happy Friday, everybody. We are starting off with some dangerous wind chills, and that's prompting our cold weather advisory. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
Yeah, today it's all about the cold. Of course, the cold freezing whatever moisture was left on the roads, and the cold just making it feel, really miserable as you're headed out this morning. So we do have in purple here. We have the winter weather advisory, and that's in effect for any frozen spots that may remain on the roads. I'll tell you, coming in this morning was way different than yesterday, so there's definitely been some improvement. Our crews will be showing you that all through the morning. And then we also have a cold weather advisory for this morning. We take a look at our temperature and wind chill. Right now it's 23 in Durham and Raleigh. It's 21 in Fayetteville, but it feels like 13 in Southern Pines and Fayetteville. It feels like 16 in Goldsboro and 13 in Rocky Mount. The wind chill is in that box on the right. We take a look at our hour by hour wind chill. Expected to feel like low to mid teens this morning, but then this afternoon feeling like mid 30s. We'll see highs this afternoon in the low 40s, so a little bit warmer than yesterday. Still covering of snow, especially on grassy surfaces, but that little bit of sunshine we saw yesterday really did wonders for clearing the roads in a lot of places, but probably not everywhere. 23 is our temperature. Currently, our wind is calm, but as the wind picks up later today, it's really going to feel chilly. If you're out running errands today, again, it's going to feel chilly. You'll want your coat all day with a high of 42. We are still looking at a big warm up over the next few days. I'll walk you through it coming up.
So when we step outside, we'll notice the roads, but also we'll notice the weather. The temperatures are going to be cold. Notice the roads, but in a good way. Right now, let's get out to the storm tracker. And Kelsey Coffey is in Cary right now. Kelsey, big difference from yesterday.
Yes, Jeff, it's a huge difference from yesterday. We'll give you a live look now at Dillard Drive in Cary. This is somewhere that we visited yesterday in the storm tracker, and it is just totally different this morning. So this road is all clear, of course. Dillard Drive is somewhere where we have two schools, Dillard Drive Elementary and Dillard Drive middle school, so you should be smooth sailing on this particular road, but we'll be sure to monitor road conditions all throughout Wake County today to keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
Wake County Schools is one of more than a dozen school systems in our area that will be closed today because of concerns about road conditions. All the counties in red on this map will have no school today. Counties shown in yellow will be on a delayed start, and counties in green will have remote learning. You can find the full list on WRAL.com. Students in Wake County Schools will now need to go to class on a makeup day in order to meet requirements for instructional hours. Some of them will need to do it on a Saturday. Today will be the third snow day in a row for Wake schools. The current policy requires the school system to use all extra time and work days before having a remote learning day. One parent we spoke with says this week's closures are justified, but she questions previous decisions to shut down schools and keep kids home.
And imagine waking up and having a day where your children can absolutely be in school, not like this week, but your child can absolutely be in school and you are losing an income because they're not.
Many students on year-round calendars will now have class on Saturday, March 1st. Students on the traditional calendar will lose a day of spring break.
This morning, we're seeing new images of that massive pileup on I-40 and I-85 in Orange County. It collected more than 50 vehicles in this chain reaction. Lee's 24-hour Towing, one of the tow truck companies that responded, shared these photos with us. The drivers who were caught up in this pileup described that chaotic scene. Now, we spoke with Dusty Metter. He says he was driving right behind some of the first vehicles that crashed. He slammed on his brakes and hit the car in front of him. He says the moments after that were hectic and frightening.
We peeled out because we didn't want to stay in the car and have people come into us. And we got out the car and ran up the embankment, and we started hearing and seeing cars clashing, and a truck came to the side of the road down the grass where we were at, so we just climbed up a little higher.
Yeah, one person died in that crash. Several others were hurt. Metter says he was told his truck was towed to a yard. He's waiting to get access to it so he can file an insurance claim.
The winter storm has been keeping hospitals busy. Duke University Hospital tells us it saw 3 times more patients than usual coming in with injuries from car accidents. Officials expect to see the number of patients go up, especially for slip and fall accidents.
Maybe it looks like it's not slippery and they go for a walk and they try to do something or decide to go shopping and they miss that spot that hasn't had the sun or has frozen over the night before.
Over the last 2 days, the total number of people coming into emergency departments at Duke and UNC Health Rex has been down from normal. That's a sign people are waiting for roads to improve before they come in. Get the latest weather updates from our team of experienced meteorologists in the WRAL News app. It is free to download. When you sign up for push notifications, you'll have the most up-to-date information right at your fingertips.
We have this live look for you right now at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, where Senate Republicans have started a marathon vote session to advance President Trump's agenda. They kicked off a series of votes last night to adopt a budget blueprint. It includes more funding for immigration enforcement, national security, and energy production. The budget plan is at odds with another plan from House Republicans who want to include other major priorities like tax policy in that single bill. An identical budget resolution must be adopted by both the House and Senate before Congress can take the next step to advance the legislation.
The Durham County Board of Commissioners will hold its annual budget retreat this morning. This meeting is a chance for the county to review its annual budget ordinance, including tax projections and economic trends for the year. The retreat has been moved online due to the winter weather. You can find a link to watch the meeting on the county's website. It begins at 10 a.m.
Bird flu has been detected in a great horned owl in Cary. North Carolina Wildlife says its first case in Wake County since 2023. Now, the owl, along with a hawk and several geese, were found dead in Cary and then tested, and the results are still pending on the other birds. But NC Wildlife's game, birds, and wildlife supervisors say this is the time of year when bird flu is typically found in our area.
A lot of our bird populations have not seen this virus before and have little resistance to it. So they can actually carry it and not show the disease, which allows transmission to other birds during the winter months, in particular when they migrate together and congregate together.
The CDC says transmission to humans is very rare.
Threat from above. NASA recalculates the odds of an asteroid hitting Earth in the year 2032. What the new analysis shows about the chance for impact.
Anthem booed. The cold response fans in Boston gave to "Oh Canada," and the message the Canadian singer added to the lyrics.
Today is another WRAL Weather Alert Day. This is a live look at North Hills in Raleigh. We are under a cold weather advisory. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is back after the break with when will warm up enough to melt the ice away for good.
.442, it is a cold start out there this morning. 21 degrees in Wilson, 23 in Durham, and 21 in Fayetteville. You'll notice as you're heading out this morning that the roads, and you may have seen this yesterday as well, the roads have improved a good bit. Just a little bit of sunshine yesterday helped to melt a lot of the ice on the roads, but not all of it. It's going to be one of those mornings where, we're going to see some spin outs in a few places where all of a sudden, the roads look great, they look great, and then all of a sudden they don't. It's 21 in Wilson. The whirligigs are moving slightly. Wind chill will be an issue this morning. It is likely to feel like the teens, and in some places even down into the single digits. Satellite and radar all nice and dry, though. We're going to see a lot of sunshine today, so we have the top of the tower lit in blue for clear skies, and it's just going to be a chilly one. Temperatures are mostly in the 20s now, but should fall into the teens.
Republican North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis is speaking out against President Trump's comments, blaming Ukraine's president for the ongoing war with Russia. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Whoever believes that there is any space for Vladimir Putin in the future of a stable globe better go to Ukraine. They better go to Europe. They better invest the time to understand that this man is a cancer and the greatest threat to democracy in my lifetime.
Tillis says he supports President Trump and believes most of his national security policies are right. He went on to call Russian President Vladimir Putin a liar and a murderer.
Today, leaders of the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers plan to hold what they describe as a press conference on Capitol Hill. These are the men who were convicted for playing leading roles in the January 6th riots before their sentences were commuted by President Trump. Organizers for today's gathering say they will talk about future plans for the groups.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she has no plans for now to remove embattled New York City Mayor Eric Adams from office. Hochul cited concerns about disruption and chaos that removing the mayor could bring to the residents of New York City. Rather than removal, Governor Hochul will leave the fate of Mayor Adams in the hands of voters, with an election taking place later this year.
The Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. was evacuated because of a bomb threat. The center says the threat was made because of Shen Yun performances, but did not release any more information about why the performances were targeted. After an evacuation and search, security gave the all clear for the performances to go on as planned.
NASA now says the odds of an asteroid hitting Earth in 2032 are almost zero. Astronomers say the threat posed by the 2024 YR4 asteroid is now about 1 out of 357. Earlier this week, they said it was about a 1 in 32 chance. NASA continues to keep a close eye on the asteroid since the measurements keep shifting.
A thrilling finish to the Four Nations hockey tournament, the championship game between U.S. and Canada last night.
Centering pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada!
And that was Canada's Connor McDavid with the overtime goal to give Canada the 3-2 win. The tournament was a showcase of the NHL's best players from the U.S., Canada, Sweden, and Finland.
Before the game, fans in Boston booed the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, Canada, terre nostalgique.
Canadian singer Chantal Kravasak sang in English and French. She also changed the words "In All of Us Command" to "In Only Us Command." Her representative told CBC News she did that on purpose, quote, in response to annexation rhetoric coming from the U.S.
Video from Nash County gives an example of the dangers of icy conditions. Town of Nashville's police department shared this video of a tow truck driver slipping and falling, responding to a call. Now, the post did not indicate whether the driver was hurt. The police department also shared a photo of an officer after he slipped and fell. In the caption, the department encouraged people to stay safe, but added if you do fall, you're in good company. Slippery out there, not as much as yesterday, though. It's 446 right now. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. And this is why, with that cold weather advisory, the refreeze is taking effect.
That's right. So we did see a lot of melting yesterday. I was actually a bit surprised. I figured, with all the cloud cover and the cold temperatures yesterday, that we would still see a lot of ice on the roads. But my neighborhood was 100% better. Matter of fact, I didn't run into really any icy patches on the road. That said, this is a day that's even potentially more dangerous than yesterday because you're going to be driving along and everything is fine. And then all of a sudden you see an icy patch and it's too late to slow down. And then you spin out. So that's the kind of day we're looking at today. Also very cold out there. Wind chills may drop into the single digits. Right now we haven't seen temperatures drop quite that far, but it's 447 and our temperatures still have a couple of more hours that they may fall. But again, we do have a cold weather advisory in effect for most of the viewing area and also a winter weather advisory in effect for most of the viewing area. This is where you would still have the potential for some icy patches. We take a live look at downtown Raleigh, and this time yesterday, Fayetteville Street was completely covered with ice, and there is not even a bit of ice on it this morning. This is a live look from our Jimmy V camera. It is 23 degrees. Our dew point is 9. That means it's just very, very dry, which will allow the temperatures to continue to fall. Will likely drop on into the upper teens with a wind chill in the lower teens in the next few hours. We're seeing teens in a few places, lower teens, as a matter of fact. In Southern Pines and Rocky Mount right now, it feels like like 13. It feels like 16 in Goldsboro, 15 in South Hill, and 17 in Roxborough. So it is a very cold start out there this morning. Our temperatures yesterday were really cold too. So we're looking at temperatures anywhere from a couple of degrees to about 5 degrees colder than yesterday. But the next thing that happens is a warm up. And I think folks will be happy for that. Yesterday, we kept it in the 30s. We're going to climb into the low 40s. It's maybe a little bit of sledding left. I know my sledding hill, the kids scraped all the snow off of it. We have cold air still headed our way. Right now, it's 6 in Minneapolis and 13 in Chicago. That's where our air is coming from. So we do stay cold for another day. We're looking at some really cold wind chills back to our north and west as well. Our wind chills this morning, of course, are likely to be single digits into the low teens. But again, we do have some warmer weather that is on the way. Let's jump on out and take a look at our 7-day forecast. And there it is. It is a weather alert day because of the chance for some very cold temperatures and slippery conditions. Saturday, pretty chilly at 49, but we jumped to 57 Sunday. And we have a 70-degree day in our forecast. How about that?
Love it. Well, life-changing help, how a UNC legend is giving financial support to people recovering from Hurricane Helene.
A family tragedy. In the next hour, how loved ones of the woman killed in a massive pileup in Orange County are trying to find closure. .452 is the time right now as we take this live look in Lewisburg. You see the streets looking pretty good right now. It's a much different scene than yesterday, but those temperatures, they're going to get you today. Low 20s in a lot of places in our viewing area. President Donald Trump hosted a White House event to celebrate Black History Month. The president was joined by surprise guest Tiger Woods. During the event, Trump announced a statue of Prince Estabrook. Estabrook will be included in the new National Garden of American Heroes. Estabrook was an enslaved man who fought and was wounded during the first battles of the Revolutionary War.
People in Western North Carolina are working hard to rebuild after the devastation of Helene. This week, some of them received a surprise phone call from a familiar voice. WRAL's Keely Arthur tells us about how the news he shared will change their lives.
A man known across North Carolina is a proud native of Western North Carolina.
It's the start of a good day for you.
This week, he made surprise calls to let residents impacted by Hurricane Helene know some life-changing news.
Great news for them that some of the debt that they have had is going to be completely erased.
Coach Williams, along with Verizon and Forgive Co., helped erase $10 million worth of debt for 6,500 people living in Western North Carolina. For Madeline Fry, the days after the hurricane hit were tough.
From wearing the same flood-soaked clothes for 3 days, no access to cash, food, hotel rooms, everything down. You couldn't reach for help, just emergency vehicles everywhere. It was a lot.
When she learned her medical debt was going to be erased, she was shocked by the generosity of the gift and by the person who called to tell her.
Coach was just so personable, and to think that he, with everything he's achieved in his career and lifetime, would take the time out to call me.
Williams was thankful to be able to make the call.
You can tell when you're talking to some of those people that we talked to this morning that they've just been needing a little help. They just needed a little hope for them to keep going.
Well, that's such a nice touch there, a nice gesture from the coach, and what a relief for those people who need it so badly right now. Robot umpires are getting their first test in the big leagues. The automated ball strike challenge system was used for the first time in Major League Baseball during spring training games yesterday. It's been tested in the minor leagues since 2021. It uses a set of cameras around the field to track pitches. The players are allowed to challenge an umpire's call of whether a pitch was a ball or a strike. It could be used in the regular season games as early as next season. And it's always a sign of spring, Renee, when you're talking about baseball and spring training and things like this, and the innovation of the balls and strikes. They went to a lot of steps to try to speed the game up. This might take them back a step, slowing it down to review those pitches, but getting it right is the big thing, I guess.
Maybe, but if you have the chance to challenge, why not use it, right? And you mentioned that it's been tested in the minor leagues for a few years now. The overall success rate for players who put in those challenges, 51%. So it's worth calling out the robot umpire.
Right.
Courts in all 100 counties in North Carolina will be using e-courts by the end of 2025. The state court system announced the final launch dates yesterday. 14 counties in red on the map will be added on July 21st. The last 13 counties will convert to e-courts on October 13th. A group of counties in our area will start using it in April.
Chatham County has a new program to help low-income homeowners with their property taxes. This program provides up to $500 for longtime residents. You must have owned and lived in the home for at least 5 years. It has to be your primary residence as well. And you must be current on your property taxes, and you can't be getting any other tax relief or assistance. On top of that, applicants must meet certain income limits. For a single person, $44,520 a year, and for two people, it's $50,880 a year. For a family of four, it's $63,540. You can apply online at chathamcountync.gov/tax relief.
It is 4:57. Pictures of a pileup. We're getting a closer look at wreckage left behind during that huge crash in Orange County. What they reveal about the hours-long effort to clean it up.
Schools closed. There's no class in Wake County today, and other districts, including Durham, will be on remote learning. What the WRAL Investigates team is learning about how effective parents think virtual lessons really are.
Watching the roads right now, the WRAL Storm Tracker is in Raleigh on Six Forks Road. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will be back after the break with the timeline for a warm-up after a very cold start this morning.